what's up everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna do a quick test, hopefully quick, of 4 Plexi sound pedals, if that's a word, and then we will compare these pedals with the real Marshall, just a 20-watt version, but you know, in a studio-like situation, what's more convenient to have, the real amp or one of these 4 little amps, pedal in a box, I don't know, how would you wanna call them, all right? So, okay, yeah, now you can see them. So the 4 pedals, the TC Electronic GM45, the Boss IR2, super best-selling product by Boss, the Strymon Iridium, like, you know, it's really super famous, and the UA, Universal Audio Lion, super nice pedal, a little bit expensive though, but we will talk about these things later, alright? So I will use my Shure Modern Terra just because it can deliver a lot of different sounds, otherwise the video would be super long, but then later on we will compare these pedals with the real amp, alright? So I already recorded everything, so don't worry, and I recorded that with proper guitars, you know, with my Strats and the EVH, you know, you just like to try to get those Plexi type of tones that maybe, okay, you're interested in. Alright, so my setup, it's this one. So my guitar, then I'm going into the rack that passed through an overdrive that I'm not using right now, okay, and then the Strymon Mobius for modulation that I will use in the recordings. Then I'm going into the pedal, from the pedal going back to the Torpedo Cab M. Why? Because I want to have the same IR between all of these pedals, just because, you know, it's a more fair comparison, you know, for your ears, so you can really listen to these, you know, different characters, all right? And of course, you can choose whatever IR you want when you buy these pedals, okay? So the IR I chose, it's a Dyne IR by 2 notes, just like the one that I used for that comparison video, okay? So it's a 4x12 by Bogner, okay? It's called Ball Green. If you have 2 notes products, you know, you can you know, select that cab if you like it. It's one of my personal favorite, a really nice one. And what else? Oh yeah, and then after the IR, I'm going to the Strymon Timeline and the Strymon Flint, that right now is just a Flint, it's on. Okay, this is the little reverb that you can have going in stereo in the audio interface. Okay, my Focusrite Claret 2 Pre. So the GM45, it's basically a GTM 45 type of amp, okay? It's a little bit different from a 1987 or a 1959 Marshall. It's a little bit more like bassman-ish, okay? And you have in this pedal a classic layout. So the normal and high are the 2 channels, you know, the high channel and the normal channel. And then the level, it's like a master volume, of course, and then you have the bass, middle, and treble. Then also you can choose, you know, the presence. There's a little trim on the back of the pedal, and then you can select the boost if you want it to be before the amp or after the amplify, if you want, you know, to push a little bit, just like, you know, a solo boost. All right, right now we have 2 channels, okay? Right now we are in the green channel and the red one. Basically, you know, that doesn't make any sense. It's not just like switching from the bright channel to the normal channel. It's not like that. They assume that you want to have like a cleaner version of the amp and then a more distorted one. So the clean channel, the green one, it's like you can't go past 50% of the volume, all right? Just gain-wise. It's a little bit, you know, complicated. That's what is written on the instruction manual though. And then if you press the red channel, it goes, you know, full-blown Marshall, just like these. While this one always distorted because I'm using humbuckers, but if I'm you know, playing with the intermediate positions. Nice chords. Okay, so this is how these pedals sound. It sounds pretty cool, I would say. Let's try a little bit more of a normal type of situation on the extreme one that I like better, to be honest. So really clean, right? Not bad. Why C minor today? I don't know. Not bad, right? And if I press the red channel in this configuration, we will have a little bit muddy. Let's see if I'm turning on the boost. A little bit muddy to my taste. I'd rather have more of this type of situation. Let's try it. Not bad, more of a bluesy type of sound maybe, right? High gain type of tone, of course, but more in a blues territoire, I would say. However, I think this amp sounds pretty cool and it's kind of inexpensive, I would say, pretty affordable. And, you know, with this 2-button setup, you have a Marshall type of tone, you know, compact package. It's not bad. And to be honest, I'm quite impressed with this one because I thought, yeah, you know, they made the amp in a box stuff, whatever. But I think it sounds pretty cool, I would say. So let's move to the Boss IR2. I hope this, you know, this is enough. I just tone-wise, because actually all of these little things here, they could deserve like a video just by themselves, but otherwise the video would be too long. And you know, from the stats of my channel, I can see that people are not the attention span, it's not really huge, I would say. So let's see if, you know, this solution of being a little bit more, you know, quick will be good or not. Anyway, sorry, this setup of the Boss one with these without you know, with this situation here, it's messing up the old setup, but you know, forgive me for that. It's not my fault. Okay, so here we have the Boss one. Okay, this is how the amp sounds. Again, 2 channels here. Not that different, to be honest. This is the high gain scenario. It's a nice creamy tone actually, and you know, the same IR, but they sound a little bit different. Let's turn down a little bit of the level here, so you know, it doesn't clip. Not bad, I would say. Of course, this Boss pedal can emulate a lot of different amplifiers, okay? So it's been a best seller because you can do a lot with this one, okay? It's not super easy to, you know, to use because it's just like a Boss pedal. It's a modeler inside a, you know, your typical Boss metal zone chassis. So, you know, it's a little bit tricky, but it's nice. You have, you know, the ambience, the level, and the gain control, you know, with these double knob setups, and you know, with the outside part of the knob, you have the EQ, the bass, middle, and treble. Okay, so if I turn down the gain, it can clean up quite well, I think. And I think right. Haha. Okay. And it goes on and on. So, not a bad clean tone, am I right? With the humbucker. Intermediate position. Sorry. Anyway, not bad, I would say. All right, you can go from clean to more gainy tones, and like this, maybe it will be more distorted. Yeah, it does. And you know, you can do a lot of different stuff, but again, it's a pedal. You can put it like in a pedal board, and then you do other stuff, you know, with the effects and everything. Not bad. And these are these two were the more affordable one. If we move into the higher tier of today and plugging in the Strymon Iridium, let's see if things start to be different or not. Okay, let's go, let's go. Man, this pedal feels so good under your finger. It's something like, you know, you can chew this tone. It's like super nice, super nice. I don't know what, you know, how do they do that? I remember it was like a JFET things, I don't know, that replicate kind of, you know, the feeling that you will have when you're playing through a real amp. I don't know if I'm saying correct stuff or I'm just, you know, I'm just blabbering, I don't know. Anyway, it feels good, okay? Oh, I forgot. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. I know like my today shirt, it's not like super, it's a little bit boring, but I think it perfectly fits with my guitar. Someone here likes green, right? Anyway, sorry, I'm an idiot, but it would be really appreciated if you would subscribe, because my channel, it's really it's hard to it's really hard like nowadays to grow a YouTube channel, so it would be really appreciated. Anyway, let's go back to the Strymon Iridium. Offers 3 different amplifier models, okay? The classic clean Fender Blackface type of amp, like a Fender Deluxe type of amp, the Vox AC30, and then the Marshall, okay? So pretty versatile and really easy to operate, okay? You have everything laid down here, from drive control, the middle, the treble, the bass, you have the level and a room control. If I turn down the Strymon Flint, so super dry, this is the room control, like no room, maximum room, okay? Pretty realistic, I would say, okay? It emulates a little bit like the amp in the room. Okay, but I don't feel the need for it. I mean, maybe it's just me, but a lot of people like to have like the room thing and then adding the reverb. Then I'm just happy with the normal reverb, to be honest. Okay. Anyway, this is still like the Marshall. Pretty clean for a Marshall, okay, sounds good. Okay, but the real magic happens when you turn on the drive. Otherwise, like you have a Fender, then why would you like to play with the Marshall clean? But some people do, so it's fine. Really smooth type of Marshall tone. Not bad. Really butchering Hendrix classic, I'm sorry about that. Thing is that really inspiring, that touchy feel that I have, that thing, it's super nice. And for me, it's one of the most important thing, on any device. I care about the sound, of course, but how does this feel? And the Strymon Iridium to me feels really good. Maybe it doesn't have a lot of bite, okay? Even with this type of control, it's still kind of smooth. So if you want to have like that super bitey type of tone, maybe you have different, other options that you can achieve, you know, with the other menu and stuff. But you know, maybe a different IR, but it's still kind of smooth type of simulation. But it's a good one, I think. I like it. Okay, and then let's move to the last one. So then we can move to the comparison. Okay, of course, you know, there's different IRs, cab and stuff, but it's not about that. You know, as I said before, these pedals can do a lot, can do quite a lot, to be honest. But you know, maybe if you like to have like a video on one of like specific pedals of this one, maybe I can arrange that. Okay, if you are like, okay, Luca, please do, you know, a deep dive into one of these ones, maybe I can do that. Anyway, this Lion pedal, okay, it needs a little bit of time to turn on. Okay, perfect. You can select different IRs here as well. There are 6 IRs that you can choose from, you know, with this little lever here. Is it called a lever? Switch, maybe switch is better, okay? So these are the 3 ones that you can achieve, that you can get when you just buy the pedal. And if you register the pedal, then you will have 3 more. But then I'm playing with no IR because, as I said before, I'm playing with my 2 notes IR, all right? Then we have bass, middle and treble, as usual, volume 1 and volume 2, like the TC Electronic one, so, you know, more authentic, I would say. Then the output, and then we can choose between 3 different models: the bass, the lead, and the brown sound. So it's like a super lead, a super bass, and kind of a Eddie-inspired brown sound tone, you know, with variac and stuff like that. It sounds a little bit different. Like right now, let's keep it to lead one, and then of course, if you want to go to the alternative modes of these knobs, you can just like push the switch in the up position. You can control the room, the presence, and the boost. But be aware that the room doesn't work if you're into external IR mode. And bells, Italian bells. Can you hear them? Unfortunately, I do, and you know, they make me crazy. Anyway, so the presence and the boost, okay, as well. So you can do a lot of stuff with this pedal, and it's the more like authentic. Oh my god, these bells, I hate them with all my heart. It's 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock is, you know, it's the time. It's time to listen to the bells, apparently. And it, you know, it lasts, I don't know, a couple of minutes, maybe more, every day. It's so annoying, so annoying. Anyway, how does this pedal sound? Pretty good, I would say. This one, it's the one that to me sounds more like the real amp. Not quite sure about the feeling thing. Maybe the Strymon is easier to play. But this one definitely sounds more like the Plexi amp, you know. Already, I don't even need to compare it. I mean, I did it before, but, you know, just playing right now, I'm like, wow, okay. So that's a thing. Then, okay, of course, we can turn down, you know, the volume 1 control. And, you know, it's kind of authentic because it's not super clean, right? Even with the Plexi, if you put the volume 1 at 5. It's similar to this type of tone, if you remember my video about that amp. So let's try here like this. Oh, and then this thing that it's not changing. Sorry, it's not changing the volume. Like it's still quite present, like the volume. It's not, and it's bright as well. You know, with the bright cap. I think you can choose that that option in the menu. Unfortunately, and this is the thing that bugs me a lot, I couldn't make the app work, neither with my iPhone or with the iPad. So I don't know, maybe it's a faulty unit, can happen, but it didn't work. You know, the iPhone crashed, the iPad was like, oh, you have to refresh everything, and you know, I couldn't make it work, unfortunately. But I know that you can choose a lot of different options, okay? So it's kind of a raspy, I mean, not raspy, it's really like bitey tone in the upper mids. Because of the bright cap, I guess. So let's turn on the volume 2 a little bit more. Not bad, right? Not bad. And everybody's happy. I'm joking. Anyway, it feels really good. It's really inspiring. Okay, really, really inspiring, I have to say. And you have, you know, different options. Maybe you want to listen to the brown type of tone. And you know, just for comparison, this is the lead version. It lowers the volume because it emulates the Variac, you know, but it's more brown. Okay. Okay, definitely emulates that kind of amp situation, you know, even if I like the normal lead, more like super nice, super nice. And to be fair, it's the closest thing like that I can associate with the real amp. Super nice, but more expensive, and it's just like one trick pony, right? While the Strymon Iridium is pretty much in the same ballpark and does 3 amps. Here you have just one, but it's really good, really, really good. So I think we can compare these pedals with the real amp and see, you know, what's going on. Okay guys, so the Marshall 20 watts, okay, the Studio 20. This electronic. Boss. Strymon. Lion. Okay, the Marshall, the real amp, it's like on his own league, all right? But they all sound cool, I would say, with the TC and the Lion that are a little bit closer to the original, even if in this sample it's not like the other one will be better for the pedals. And the Boss and the Strymon are a little bit like more like darker type of sound, but still it's not bad. They have all the same IR, so they all went through my Strymon, my Torpedo Cab Amp with the ball green cabinet, okay, with the Fender Player 2 Strat, okay, so that was the setup. For the second one, it's always the same Strat, but you know, with the gain max out of the amps and the pedals, so Marshall. TC. Boss. Strymon. And Lion. The Lion and the Marshall, they sound pretty similar, I would say. Am I right? Remember that the TC is emulating a JTM 45. So, you know, there are more differences, I guess, from the in that regard. And also, I'm playing through a 20 watt Marshall SV20. It's not a proper 1959 Marshall Plexi, but still, it's a real tube amp. So, you know, it's just to compare. I can already say that the Lion feels a little bit more alive and real and articulated, but the other three, they sound good, I would say. You know, if it wasn't for a real comparison like that, I would never guess that they're not real amp. I mean, at least to my ears, maybe I have bad ears for sure, but I think they sound pretty decent for the money. Third example with the EVH and the Strymon Mobius in front of the amp or the pedal as a phaser, all right? Marshall. TC. Boss. Strymon. And Lion. Well, the Lion sounds better than the other pedals. Let's hear the Marshall again. Lion. Yeah, you can tell that they share that roar, all right, that bite, while the other three, they are a little bit more dark and muffled. They don't have that spiky thing. And I'm telling you, I tried with all the pedals to recreate the sound of the amp. It's not like I just put the knobs in the same position. So I try with my ears, but you know, that's the results that I could get. The last example. Okay, this was the Marshall with my Ingvar Malmsteen signature model, the Soul Food as an overdrive in front of the amp. And of course, same setup for the pedals. Guitar, Soul Food by Electro Harmonix into the pedal, and then the Strymon Flint as a reverb. Let's hear again the Marshall. TC. Boss. Strymon. Lion. Marshall again. Okay, again, they are more alike, but I think also when I was playing them, that using a pedal in front of these amp in a boxes help. There's something about, you know, the analog drive in front of a digital preamp whatsoever that helps to get, you know, a better feel. Okay, so tone wise, I think again that the Lion sounds better, like closer to a real amp, but I can't say that the other ones are bad. And to be honest, this example here, the last one with the pedal in front, it's the best one. If I have to choose, like, in which scenario these amp in a boxes like sound better, well, this one. In this one, I think that they all were really, really good, while in the others, they were absolutely fine, but I could feel more the difference between the amp and the amp in a boxes, okay? So this one with the pedal in front, I think was the best flattening one for the pedals. However, I think, you know, the Lion sounds pretty cool, but again, it's one trick pony, kind of expensive, but, you know, I think that you could hear that. But let me know which one you like better, you know, and let's make a little bit of more consideration, like turning that. Okay guys, so you heard them, and let me know what you think about it. Let me know which one you would like to have in your pedalboard and studio situation. Of course, you know, this TC Electronic, it's not bad, okay? For the price, I think it sounds cool. Also the Boss, maybe it's a little bit less authentic because it does more stuff, but it's kind of affordable and really practical in, you know, little box type of, you know, enclosure. The Strymon Iridium, it again, maybe it's not super like one-to-one replica to the Marshall, but it does a good rendition, and also you have different amps at your disposal, so it's not bad and it feels really good when you play it. And the Lion, of course, it's the more like authentic. It sounds pretty damn close, I would say, and also the controls and stuff, it's a super nice pedal. And sometimes you can buy that like with special offers. It was like when I ordered it, it was less than 300 euro, and it was really a good bargain, I would say. However, if you would pay full price for it, it's more than 400 bucks, 400 euro, whatever. And I've seen a couple of those amp, like the Marshall one, or even at PRS, like around 500, you know, euro, whatever, you know, the currency is. And so with this one, like a 400 something, and the real one, it's 500-ish. I mean, the question can be raised, right? So, and of course, the real amp is the real amp, but you would need, you know, in a studio situation, you would need a reactive load and blah, blah, blah. This one, you can go straight into your interface. So it depends on, you know, what are your need, basically, okay? What you need for you, you know, what are your needs, okay? So let me know, because I'm pretty curious to know which one you like the better. And I want to thank, of course, strumentimusicali.net that let me borrow all of these pedals, and you can find all the links in the description down below if you want to buy from them. Maybe you're in Europe, so you can do that totally, and, you know, it would be really appreciated. And, you know, that's pretty much it for today, guys, and thanks a lot. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like, maybe the new hype button, that it's kind of a new thing that I think it will help me a lot. And, you know, see you guys next time. Ciao!